Now move on to improve and control phase. The first one is improve phase. In improve phase, our goal is solution generation. Our goal is solution generation, and if possible, solution optimization. And then solution implementation, and finally, solution validation. So, improve phase, what are the steps deliverable, the tools, and tollgate review questions. When it comes to the steps, generate solution and evaluate them one by one. Then select select the best solution and optimize the best one. Then finally, pilot the solution, implement the solution, and verify the solution has yielded the result with the help of data, which is known as validation of solution. So the main outcome or deliverable of the improve phase is validated solution. And what kind of tools and techniques we can use for solution generation and evaluation? Tools like benchmarking, creative thinking, nominal group technique, and then multi-voting. These tools can be helpful. Then for solution optimization, you can think about using design of experiments, which we will be learning slightly in the higher level. Anyway, DOE is a tool for optimizing your results. And simulation. Instead of conducting experiments in real time, we can conduct experiment through simulation, right? And then we will be finalizing our solution. And piloting, implementing, and validating. Pilot plan, full-scale implementation, and failure mode and effect analysis. And all of these things are the tools. Now, what is benchmarking? Benchmarking means referring to the organization, referring to others, products, other services, other organization who are found to be pioneer in a particular aspect. We have a we have a problem and we are interested in improving a particular process. But the same process and another organization is running in a much better manner. Now, what you can do is you can actually study such organization's process and you can implement the similar solution in your process, right? So, benchmarking refers to uh, like, um, what to say, copying the best practices in organization which are known to be the leaders in a particular aspect. And for benchmarking, you need not always, you need not always look at the big companies. Even small companies, you can look at nothing wrong. Sometimes you may benchmark within your company. You can actually benchmark the process in other department and implement the same in your department, right? So that is about benchmarking. So sometimes even the academic research findings will also be benchmarked and then implemented for practical solution in the industry. That is also possible. So that's the thing. And creative thinking means it's a kind of brainstorming where the team will be expected to think out of box, but in a what to say, the they can think out of box, but the idea must be their own idea. So the problem will be explained and the root cause will be explained. And now people have to come up with some idea about the solution in a creative manner. And when the team is proposing an idea in a creative manner, the audience can actually cross question them. The audience can actually cross question them Audience can also be subject matter experts. Audience can also be internal project team members, non-project team members, stakeholders, and anybody. All these people will be sitting, and the project team will be presenting their solution idea, no, without having any limitation in their mind while preparing a solution. That is known as creative thinking. Then nominal group technique. Nominal group technique means the group will be divided into smaller groups. Say, for example, all managers, one group, all top management, another group, and then the operators can be another group. So, likewise, this kind of grouping sometimes helps people, to speak from their heart freely. If your manager is present in the same hall, if your boss is present in the same hall, if your management is also present in the same hall, then sometimes it becomes a barrier for the others to share their viewpoints. So, to break such barrier, what we normally do is we divide them into groups based on their designation, role, and etc. And so the idea is they will be able to speak freely, and all the points will be recorded. Then all of them, will come to a discussion centrally, right? So that is nominal group technique. Particularly when the issue under discussion, if it is very controversial, then nominal group technique will be highly helpful. Multi-voting. Multi-voting is again a kind of brainstorming where if there are many solutions, people will be asked to vote the solution which is more beneficial to the organization in their point of view. So based on the voting, whichever solution that gets the maximum voting, such solution will be implemented because people acceptance is very very important. So these are the tools, nothing but different types of brainstorming we use to generate the solution as well as evaluate the solution. And when it comes to the piloting, what we do is we implement the solution in a smaller scale. Why? We want to ensure the full scale implementation is smooth, flawless, and without any complication. So we implement the solution in a smaller scale, understand the challenges that may arise during the full implementation, and accordingly the solution will be adjusted and then implemented. So pilot plan can be extremely helpful in preparing a very nice full scale implementation plan. And particularly when the solution is costlier, particularly when the solution is irreversible, right? Pilot plan and following a pilot procedure is very advantageous, so that what you cannot understand with in a theoretical manner, you will be able to understand in a practical manner. So that is the idea with pilot plan. And of course full scale implementation plan with all the new knowledge developed from the past as well as from the pilot will be incorporated to ensure the smooth implementation of the um, full scale plan. And of course training is part of the full scale implementation plan. Once the changes are effected, people have to be trained, and the revised SOPs should be in place so that people can follow the revised procedures. So all this documentation updation, re-standardization must happen as part of your full-scale implementation plan. And then whether the implemented solution has complicated any of the existing process or system must be tested, because while when you implement a new procedure or a new solution, it might sometimes increase the risk of failures. So it is a good idea to perform a failure mode and effect analysis whenever changes are made at the process level. So before change, what was the risk level? And after change, what is the risk level? So the FMEA study must be conducted, right? So these are all the activities normally happens in a improve phase. So at the end of which, as usual, there will be a review. How did the team generate the list of possible solution? And what tools were used to tap into the creativity and encourage the out of box thinking of the project team? And what tools were used to evaluate the potential solution? Maybe the multi voting and tools like FMEA. And what lessons from the pilot were incorporated into the full scale solution? How does the solution will remove the sources of variation discovered in the analyze phase? So if all these questions, if you are able to answer, then the improve phase is completed. Hope it is clear to all of you, right? Improve phase. So solution generation, evaluation, and then optimization. But optimization we have not discussed here. We'll be discussing probably during the uh, third week. Design under the topic design of experiments. And however, please note all of them are different types of brainstorming because ultimately the uh, consensus of all the people is very important. That is why, we involve all of them in the solution generation process. And then after gaining the consensus, the new solution will be implemented. Okay. So, any questions or shall we proceed with the control phase? Shall we proceed? I think it was, it's an easy to understand topic only. Shall we proceed with the control phase? All of
Yes,
you?
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yes,
good.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we move on to the control phase. The control phase, our goal is to create a control plan. Creating a control plan means preventive action. Solution is implemented, corrective action is taken. Now preventive action. And then documentation. Preventive action along with the documentation. So control phase steps, deliverables. Control phase tools, control phase, toll gate, review questions. Okay. The first step, implement control system for all your critical X factor. Because your X factors are the root causes. Now, why don't you monitor and control all the critical X on a daily basis? Then, documenting the solution and the benefits. Then, finally, handing over the process back to the process owner and declaring project closure. The main deliverable is control plan, nothing but the preventive action. So, tools that can help us. Control charts, yes. Implementing control system for all critical X. Depending on the data type, one of the control chart will be implemented. Then control chart test, then a control plan, then tools like Poka-Yoke, all of them will be implemented in the to prevent the failure from happening, and then documenting the solution, of course, lessons learned documents, and the document showing the cost benefit analysis, and finally documents related to project closure, and then handover. So toll gate review question, is there a control plan? How will the input process and output variable be checked to detect suboptimal condition? You see, suboptimal means no failure has happened, but our process, is operating in an intermediate state. Even before failure can happen, we should be in a position to detect the suboptimal condition. And how will a new requirement from the customer be communicated? If customer changes his requirement, and how is this information communicated to orient the process towards meeting the new year specification? Are control charts being used? If no, then why? Because control charts, of course, very, very important basic requirement, you know, to monitor any process. And what key inputs and what key outputs are being measured as part of your preventive action. Okay. So hope the broader idea about the control phase is understood. Now let us try to understand a few tools in the control phase. First type of an important tool in the control phase is Poka-Yoke. Poka-Yoke is a Japanese word which means mistake proofing. So Poka-Yokes are nothing but some design features or some added steps in the process, or it can be an additional feature in a product or a process. And see, for example, in this slide, we have two stove number A, and this one is stove B. The difference here is there is a simple change in the design, the layout of the burner and the knob. Whereas here the layout is very normal, whereas here is the burner layout and the knob layout are more or less aligned. As a result, if you want to turn on the burner number 2, you may have to operate knob number 2. Whereas here, there can be a confusion whether knob number 2 is from the left or from the right. So this confusion can lead to some failures. So by effecting some changes in the design, we are arresting failures. They are known as Poka-Yokes. This is specifically a design Poka-Yoke, right? And now here is a drilling machine. So drilling machine, a particular depth hole must be drilled. First scenario, there is no stopper, nothing. Now we completely depend on the operator. Operator can go for over drilling, can also go for under drilling. Both of them are failures. So in order to prevent the over drilling, a stopper is introduced. You all can see a blue color, a kind of device known as stopper is attached. As a result, even if the operator want to go beyond a certain depth, the stopper will not allow. Hope all of you could understand. And another kind of mistake proofing mechanism installed here is there is a light or a buzzer. This light or buzzer is introduced to prevent under drilling. Under drilling means if 10 hole has to be drilled, your drill bit should at least enter 10 Once it enters the 10 and here there can be some kind of electric switches which will be triggered as it comes down. See here, this blue color small part will make contact with any of these limit switches. Once the limit switch is operated, the light will glow. As the light glows, the confirmation is drilling is done to the required depth. So under drilling also prevented, over drilling also prevented, all with simple changes at the design level or at the process level. There are three types of Poka-Yoke: mistake Poka-Yoke, sorry, shutdown Poka-Yoke, control Poka-Yoke, and warning Poka-Yoke. Shutdown Poka-Yoke means the entire system will be halted, right? When a mistake is about to happen, the entire system will be halted. Say, for example, like if you are using a credit card or a debit card, If you put your PIN number continuously wrong 3 times or more, you know what will happen? Your card will be blocked. That is an example of a shutdown Poka-Yoke. And not only that, there are other examples for the shutdown Poka-Yoke. Like, for example, the laptop. If the battery level in a laptop goes below a predefined value, let's say 5%, then laptop will automatically shut down. So this is the idea here is we can prevent a big mistake from happening. And similarly, imagine a machinery, a big machine that has a shutter with transparent glass. By mistake, somebody opens the shutter when the machine is running inside. You know what will happen in that situation? The machine will stop abruptly. So, so these are all features or Poka-Yoke is known as shutdown Poka-Yoke. So control Poka-Yoke means your process will not allow you to proceed to the next stage. The process will not allow you to proceed to the next stage. Say, for example, your car doors are not locked properly, but you wanted to start the car and then, drive it to some place. But the system has detected that the doors, one of the door is not locked properly. So what will happen? Your car will not allow you to start the engine. Such Poka-Yoke are known as control Poka-Yoke. And the third type is warning Poka-Yoke. Warning means it will only give some alarm, give some indication like fuel is very low. Then a symbol similar to the fuel tank will glow in your dashboard. Or suppose if what do you call the seat belt is not put properly, then there will be a buzzer keep on going. These are all examples of warning Poka-Yoke. Hope all of you understand. There are three types of Poka-Yoke. One is shutdown, the other one is control, the third one is warning. Okay. Now tell me, what kind of Poka-Yoke you are witnessing here in the left side in this diagram? Is it warning or control or shutdown?
Warning.
It's
It's
control.
a warning Poka-Yoke.
Yeah, it is
Warning.
only warning. Only the light is glowing or maybe some sound can come. These are all warning. But here, a barricade is put. This is a kind of, what kind of
Control.
Poka-Yoke it is? Control.
Con-
Remember, remember, Poka-Yokes are nothing but simple changes in the design. Simple changes in the design or an added feature or added feature or an added step. Sim- Simple change in the design or an additional feature or an additional step in your process. It can be referred as Poka-Yoke. The idea is either to detect, control, or prevent a failure. Okay. You see another kind of Poka-Yoke here. This can also be called as a Kaizen. You see here, there is a screw head with a slot. And this slot is slightly modified here. What is the advantage? The screwdriver cannot slip easily. And so you are able to prevent minor injuries. At the same time, your productivity can also go up. Now, we need to document the solution. Why should we document the solution? So that the document is available for review and application in other processes in the organization. Sometimes a solution implemented in a particular specific place can be implemented as it is in other places also. Let us say a company has a machine shop where there are 200 drilling machines. And the problem in the machine shop is the drilling machines are running even when the operations are not happening. You understand? There are 200 machines, but the machines are always running continuously. Whether workpiece is having the drilling going on or not, the machines are no always running. Simply because the coolant were has to be circulated continuously. So the operator they don't want to actually manually switch off the machine when not required. So an electronic controller is created. So whenever the machining is stopped, then the coolant circulation, oil circulation, even the machine itself can be switched off. And as and when the machining resumes, then in no time the entire circulation will start. So this has been validated in one drilling machine, and the solution is very effective. So the management has decided to implement the solution across all of their 200 machines in the shop floor. So that is known as horizontal deployment. So the documentations work act as a lessons learned document for other Six Sigma belts. So when in the future any team needs the knowledge is available in the form of a well documented project document. Okay, and project benefits. You open an Excel sheet, assign one sheet for the project benefit and one sheet for the project expenses, and try to compare a cost benefit analysis, right? If the benefit must be more than the cost. And so, what is the percentage of uh, improvement in terms of the benefit that can be projected? And transferring the process back to the process owner and the project closure. So when you are actually closing the project officially and transferring the responsibilities to process owner, you need to ensure these documents are also handed over. Process control plan, any review meeting, so that you can communicate the state of the process, updated flowchart, procedures, and statement of work, anything incomplete, and the statistical process control measures, including the control plan. And if any out of control situation happens, how the team must respond to it. The response plan to define different irregularities in the process, right? So all of these things are you know, documents to be handed over during the project closure. So this is a sample project closure document. You see the process owner, the stakeholder, the handover in charge, the takeover in charge. All of them are putting the signature along with the reason for the closure. Finally, while closing the project, the team might consider evaluating how the team worked together, and also management can devise some rewards to recognize the work and success of the project team. It's a good idea for the management or the project sponsor to come and conduct a small meeting exclusively to appreciate the project team, and also they can announce some kind of rewards or incentives so that the message can spread across the organization, and continuous improvement culture can spread very easily, right? So these are all the things to be taken care in the control phase. So if there are any questions, you can ask now. Otherwise, we can wind up for the day. So are there any questions? Feel free to come on camera and then we can discuss for a few minutes before we shift. we could wind up for the day today. So, what are the tools we discussed? We discussed about
Scatter
scatter plot
plot, correlation analysis,
and correlation analysis. Then we
tool
talked
and
about
control phase,
Poka-Yoke, some
control
documentation.
plan.
Yeah, documentation procedures. So control plan is also a set of documents. And we also talked about some types of brainstorming like critical creative thinking and nominal group technique. And these are different types of brainstorming only to ensure the no, the correct information is gathered from the project team. Okay. So any specific question anybody would like to ask, understand, please let me know. If there are no questions, then we can wind up.